Alright, thanks for joining me outside today around the cabin. I wanted to touch on something very important. Now, my friend Maha, you guys know who he is, does the shows with me and everything. Well, he learned a very important lesson. And he was man enough to admit he learned a very important lesson, and that's important. The other day we got, as you can see, snow. Well, in my area we got about 4 or 5 inches. It wasn't too bad. Some places got 9 inches. Well, he decided he was going to test some products, and he knew the snowstorm was coming, but it wasn't there yet. So what he figured is he'd get out in the woods, him and his friend, and they'd set up, and if the snow started coming down, they'd be okay, everything would be all right. So they got to their location, and they hiked a half an hour into the woods. That's a pretty good distance. When they got in there, 2 inches of snow came down really quick, and the temperature dropped like a rock. And the snow was coming down in buckets. And it got cold, and it got snowy, and it got ugly real fast. So they said, well, we decided we were going to get out of there and head back to the cabin. I said, well, that's a smart move, you know. And they got out. They found out that half an hour walk in took about an hour to walk out. Because 2 inches of snow makes a big difference. And they got back, and they were fine. And I'm thankful they made it back. But my question to him is, you knew the storm was coming. Why did you go? And he said, well, I wanted to get out. It was one of the last few times the snow was going to come down this year. And I wanted to get out there, and I wanted to experience it and enjoy it and everything else. And I said, you're lucky. And he said, yes, I really am lucky. Because it could have turned really ugly really fast. So my suggestions to you and to him, as I told him before, is when you find out the snowstorm's coming down, don't go, okay? The reason being is it could have gotten very ugly for him very quickly. Now, 2 inches of snow, people up north, you know, they know, I know, 2 inches of snow, whoopee, you know, we drive through that, and somebody's going to say, but think about this. 2 inches of snow. You're hiking back. You fall and get hurt. You slip, break an ankle. Now it becomes very, very complicated. A small accident out in the woods, an hour from help, and 2 inches of snow with more coming down could potentially turn deadly very quickly. If you were bleeding, not like a half an hour walk in, you dump the packs and everything and run back out to get help. Well, you've got 2 inches of snow, running's going to be really bad. Plus you've got your bleeding friend there. Are you going to carry him out? Have you ever tried to carry anybody? Pretty rough. Have you ever tried to carry anybody in 2 inches of snow? It gets even rougher. Have you ever tried to carry everybody and your supplies and their supplies and go that route through the woods in 2 inches of snow? Ha ha! Now we're having fun. So I'm very thankful they made it back all right. But remember, we still have to use our number one tool. Okay? So when they say the winter storm's coming, that's not the time to go out and test things. When they say that, you know, the snowstorm may be coming in, or we may be having this problem or that problem, that's the time to stay close to the cabin. All right? I can walk 5 feet into the woods and do the same test that I could walk a half an hour into the woods and do. All right? So they had a good setup, and I have no doubt confidence that the two men went out, that if they did come into a problem, they could have handled it. It would have been tougher because of the snowstorm. But knowing them and knowing their skills, they could have gotten through it. Okay? They're smart enough for that. But they chanced it. And that I don't like to see from anybody. So while you're out there, be careful. Be aware of what's going on. Watch the weather before you go out. Pay attention to nature while you're out there. Learn to read nature by the weather signs. Sometimes the weatherman's not right. Really? Right. So learn what it means when the animals behave a certain way. When the birds are up against the trees instead of out on the limbs, there's a reason. When the leaves are turning over and showing their bottom side, there's a reason. When the deer are bedding down instead of out running around looking for food, there's a reason. So, pay attention to the signs in nature. Pay attention to all the wonderful gadgets and radar screens and everything else that we can use nowadays to tell the weather, and use your number one tool. I'm Rich the Ridge Hunter. Thanks for this little short video of joining me out here from outside around the cabin. And thank you, Maha, for getting back safe, buddy. I really look forward to having more talks with you, and I would really be upset if something happened to you. So don't scare me like that and risk everything again, okay? All right. I'll catch you on the next one. Everybody be safe. Have a good day.